This is Jonathan Nagoff here for Seconds Out, and I'm joined by British cruiserweight contender now, Richie of Riakporhe. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Just coming off your split decision win over Chris Billam-Smith on Saturday night. Before we get into talking about that and what's ahead, I want to speak to you about what's happened during this week. Tragic news about Maxim Dadashev, the fighter that sadly, tragically lost his life on Friday. Just your thoughts. It was devastating news.
Listen, my condolences go out to his family, and that was so sad. But these are the risks that us fighters take every single time we step in the ring. So please don't be quick to write us off when we don't perform well, or some type of injury just occurs out of nowhere. We put our lives on the line, literally, and I think a little bit more needs to go into the preparation and that being analysed. Like, for instance, like, who was he sparring on the lead up to the fight? Was there any second degree concussions? Was he sparring heavier fighters that were above his weight class? And because there is such thing as being concussed going into a fight. What else? Dehydration. That's a major thing. How was he making weight? Was he living like a professional fighter? Was he dieting? And how was he, like, overall? Like, there's some signs. There's definitely signs, as you saw from the video. He looked quite disorientated when he was in the corner when his coach was asking him, "I'm going to stop the fight." He looked like he couldn't even say no, but he looked like he didn't want to stop fighting, of course, like as a fighter should, but at the same time, he looked out of it. He looked zoned out, and you can tell something is wrong. Something was definitely wrong. But listen, man, I have faith in the British Board of Control. I have faith in them. A lot of things has happened in this country, and they have changed a lot of the laws and a lot of the rules, which makes it really safe for us boxers now. And that's why I'm happy. That's why I can take pride in being a boxer under the British Board of Control.
Now, you mentioned that he didn't obviously want to be pulled out of the fight, even though he was clearly down on the cards and suffering. His coach obviously wanted to pull him out. I mean, how difficult is that as a fighter? If you've been in that position, perhaps, if your coach says to you, "We want to pull you out," but obviously you've got that fighter's mentality where you just want to fight in there till the end. You don't prepare to be pulled out.
That's hard at the same time, but when you look back after everything's all said and done, you look back in hindsight, you realize that, listen, this man loved me. He cared for my family, he cared for my well-being. Maybe he made the right decision. Because there's some coaches that will never do that. And if they do that, it's for a reason. So you can't disregard, their thoughts and their decisions. So it's very difficult, as a fighter myself. I'll never want to give up. I never want to quit. And I wouldn't want someone to stop the fight on my behalf. It's depressing. It can literally mess you up mentally. But boxing is boxing. You have to be realistic. And if things are not going your way and you're taking too much punishment, think about your family. It's not about being selfish. You have to think about, there's people that really care about you and they want to make sure that you're fine. So if this coach is recommended that you pull out and you stop the fight, then listen, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I just want to get your thoughts on Saturday night. Obviously, you've beaten Chris Billam-Smith, your British rival, on split decision. How did the fight go for you? Did you believe you were in control? Obviously, Chris obviously thought he'd won the fight. There are a few people split at ringside, but you've won the fight. A massive win for you. How did you find it?
Yeah, listen, I'm very happy. That's a fight that I wanted from a long time ago, and I always believed that I have the tools to beat Chris Billam-Smith, and also the game plan. Now, it was tougher than I thought. I said I underestimated him because I knew that they would come with a good strategy. But I just didn't believe he had a chin and he had heart. So that's why he kind of he surprised me. He had a decent chin, and he had good heart, and he tried all the way to the end, like a true fighter does. So he's got my full respect now. He's got my full respect. But listen, boxing's boxing. We got the W. We're gonna move on to bigger, better things. But listen, watch out for Chris Billam-Smith though, because he's a serious. Like, I'm not being funny, but he's up there. He's up there for me in my eyes. He's one of the best fighters that I've been in the ring with, for sure, without a doubt.
I've seen quite a bit of improvement in you since obviously you first, let's say, made your mark against Sam Hyde. You came back to win that. You beat Tommy McCarthy. Now you've beaten Chris Billam-Smith. Do you still have work to do at British level? Obviously, you've mentioned to me there's fights you're going to be interested in, but do you still feel like you want to carry on at British level and make your mark there?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I always say this. I don't want to move up to another level with a false sense of security because I got some God-given power. Listen, this is a science, and I need to perfect my craft. And as you saw, I am amazing, and I believe I am an amazing boxer. But at the same time, there's so much more room for improvement. That's why, the Riakporhe journey is an interesting one, because I got power, that's fine. I got basic boxing ability, that's good. But I got so much more to learn, so much more that I can bring to my game that could make me walk over these opponents, these rivals, seriously, walk over them. So it's just all about me getting in the gym, learning. But it's not even about being in the gym and learning. It's literally about fighting and learning in the ring, because that's where we're getting a real experience. I've learned so much just from that 10-round fight there. I've learned so much. You couldn't buy that. You couldn't teach that someone. You couldn't teach that. So I'm happy, That's what we want to keep on doing.
Just explain to me about the fight. Obviously, Chris seemed to dominate the early rounds. Then, obviously, you came back. I mean, you said in the build-up you didn't know too much about him. I mean, how was the fight from a technical perspective? Was it what you prepare for in the gym?
Yeah, he did throw me off. He did throw me off with a bit of his movement. I didn't think he would move that well. He moved quite well. And there was times where I caught myself just looking at him. But then I was thinking, look, Richard, focus on what you need to do. So I had to kind of bring myself back and just start working. I think he was a good fighter. Watching the fight back, there was no way on earth that he won that fight. No way on earth. Like, he lost that fight by, if you wanted to be nice, even without that knockdown, 2 rounds. At least 2 rounds. With that knockdown, like 3 rounds. Some people had it 4 rounds. That might be a bit of a stretch, but 3 rounds is the common type of answer. I had you up 3 rounds. Like, what was that judge on? Terry O'Connor. Like, I don't know what fight he was watching, because I was initiating attacks. I was landing the cleaner shots. I was aggressive, showing ring generalship. He was dancing around. It's fine. Listen, that movement is fine. It looks amazing, But listen, this is not the 1950s and 1970s. They don't score like that back in the UK. Like back in Sugar Ray Leonard's days and Muhammad Ali. Yeah, it was different back then. But listen, if you're dancing like that, you're losing the rounds straight. You're losing all the rounds. Now, I'll just carry on walking forward. I'm a pressure fighter. I'm coming forward. I'm taking the rounds. That's why it was, even though he did look quite busy on the inside, like people like really that's all he was doing. Everything else, I was controlling. I was controlling from center, even to the point, controlling to the point where he had to fight off the ropes. His back was on the ropes all the time. You know what I mean? You didn't see me on the ropes at all, unless I was falling in and trying to pick myself up. But 100%, I won that fight clean, and to the point where I looked like I was bullying. I was beating him up. Like that's my honest opinion, especially from mid rounds. The 7th round was a big round as well. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm happy. It was a good performance, but at the same time, I know. Listen, I got a lot to learn and a lot to improve on, which I will show in my next fight. It was a great win, but to be honest, I'm one of those type of people. I'm a harsh critique on I just want to be better. I want to make sure that I don't have these flaws in my next fight. And if I have any flaws in my fight, whether I win or lose, I'm not happy until I rectify them. So when I rectify them, then that's when you'll see a smile on my face.